King Jigg, man. You already know what it is. 3 G's up, get guap gang, guap up. That's the motto. You know what I'm saying? The difference between us and them is we us and they them. I'm me and they them. You feel me? You see what I do. I got a rap sheet, man. I got a real rap sheet and I got a track record that's good. Like, I'm not just running around here on no bozo shit. My music speaks for itself. You feel me? I'm not running around trying to sound like everybody, homie. I'm sounding like me. You know what I'm saying, G's? Like, when you hear my music, what you hear? When you hear my music, what artists could you compare my music to? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference between me and them. You feel me? I'm not trying to sound like these, that's what they trying to do. I'm not trying to do that, man. I mean, no disrespect to nobody that's doing whatever they doing, but I'm gonna do what I do the right way.
Hip-hop me.
You feel me? This is what hip-hop is missing. They missing me. Cause I ain't let the streets down yet. That's 100% certified. I'm talking about with everything. So that's what separates me from them. My bars is facts.
What's good, y'all? What's the numbers TV? It's your boy Paul Rowe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and like a video if you appreciate the content that Paul Rowe and What's the Numbers I provided. Today we back with a profile piece. This one is on King Jigg. In this video, we're going to talk about his early years coming up in Queens. Then we'll take a look at his entry into the rap game and the different artists he would associate with. After that, we will discuss his last jail bid that kind of slowed his momentum down that he had been building for years. And finally, we will highlight his return to the streets before breaking down the situation that sadly took his life. King Jigg, real name Anthony Edwards, is of Jamaican descent and from Far Rockaway, Queens. Far Rockaway is a part of Queens that's pretty much tucked away from the rest of the city. Growing up there can be a bit territorial, as there are a bunch of different housing projects and gangs in a close proximity to one another. Far Rock also produced his fair share of rappers over the years. Rappers like Stack Bundles, Chink Drugs, and even MC Search have all put on for this slept-on part of Queens. But unfortunately for Far Rock, Stack Bundles and Chink Drugs were both killed right when it looked like they were about to take off career-wise. King Jigg, who knew both Stack and Chinks, was somewhat following their footsteps when it came to rapping, but he will also have one foot in the streets throughout his career. From young, King Jigg was a hustler and focused on making a dollar, but being in the streets would cost him as he would do multiple bids early on in his life. His street/rap crew was named the Get Guap Gang, or Get Guap Entertainment, when it came to the music. King Jigg's loyalty to the Guap Gang was consistent throughout his career, even when he linked up with bigger name rappers like Trav MBB and Jim Jones. The perks of running around with Jim Jones and his Bird Gang movement started to pay off as more people started to recognize and pay attention to King Jigg's music. Interviews with K Slay and posts on hip-hop blog sites started to get his name more out there in certain hip-hop circles in New York City. King Jigg also had a pretty good work ethic and dropped a steady stream of mixtapes and videos to promote himself. But just as it looked like he may be ready to take his career to the next level, King Jigg would end up going back to jail in April of 2016. He would serve a little over 4 years and come home in June of 2020. Trav was around through the whole bid and was even there to pick Jigg up from prison. King Jigg was still repping Guap Gang along with MBB, which is Trav's label. Jim Jones was also back in the picture, as you could see Jigg linking up with Jim on his Instagram a few times after his release. A bunch of music would follow with visuals to match. As you could tell, King Jigg was hungry to get back to the spot he had musically before he went to jail. King Jigg had returned right back to the hood in Far Rockaway, Queens, where he felt most comfortable, and got in a relationship with a woman from his neighborhood. He was slowly getting back into his groove and things were looking good as he was expecting a baby boy in the near future with his pregnant girlfriend. But then tragedy would strike in July 2022, when King Jigg would be shot and killed while sitting in his car at the intersection of Beach 38th Street and Norton Avenue. The shooting took place at 10 in the morning, and witnesses said Jigg had just got in his car a few minutes before and that the shooter had fled the scene in a white Jeep Grand Cherokee. King Jigg was 36 years old at the time of his death. A couple months after the shooting, an arrest will be made when Jamal Brown, also of Far Rockaway, was arrested in Harlem and charged with killing King Jigg. He will be indicted in October of 2022 and is currently being held on Rikers Island, awaiting trial. But yo, it's What's the Numbers TV. This is a quick profile piece on King Jigg, real name Anthony Edwards, out of Far Rockaway, Queens. You know, if you listen to the situation, it was happening in the morning, his death, and he said as soon as he got in his car, the shooter ran up on his driver's side and just shot him a bunch of times. I think he said it hit him in the head. He died on the scene. Now it sounds like he was basically, the shooter was waiting on him or something, like, just laying on him. Maybe they had some, beef before. Who knows? He's still innocent until proven guilty. Could be in that the case hasn't went to trial yet, but he is locked up and indicted for the murder. So we have to see what the outcome of that is. But it looked like basically, maybe it was some type of beef going on. Who knows? And he ran up on him in the morning, probably knew his car was a BMW. You always get identified by your car. It's one of the simplest ways to get identified. He sat on his car, waited. King Jigg came in the morning, maybe to move the car, do whatever he had to do what he got to do. And he ran up on him and shot him and killed him. Now, Far Rock is a rough place. It's cursed, especially when it comes to rappers. Like, you had two of the biggest rappers that was about to blow up and do their thing, and Stack Bundles and Change Drugs, who were both part of the same group when they first hit the scene with the Rockaway Riot Squad, them and Bino, Core 2Gs and all of them. They was messing with DJ Clue, as long Stack was and everything. Chinks ended up messing with French and all that. So they ended up losing their life. King Jigg wasn't as big as Chinks and Stack, but he was running around. He was with Jim. He was with Trav. He was doing this thing also. And he put a lot of music out, bunch of mixtapes, a bunch of videos on YouTube. You could check him out. And he ended up losing his life also. He had a good work ethic though when it came to the music. That's one thing I could definitely say about King Jigg, man. It was probably all independently funded. But he put a lot of stuff out. I know he was working with a capo Mobb, shooting all his videos and all that. But he had a good work ethic, consistently dropped music when he was free. When he was in jail, that he sat up for different parts of his life. But when he was free, he was definitely dropping a lot of music. You go check it on YouTube. He got a bunch ranging from a nice time span. He dropped music consistently. Now, him and Trav had a strong relationship. I was watching an interview. They said they knew each other like from school. That Trav said he actually started rapping because of Jigg and all that. But, Trav, knew how to get in them circles more. He's more out there. So he had a bigger buzz and started hanging out with bigger people. And, I think he brought Jigg along, as a shade to show his love and respect. Trav was there, picked him up from jail. They got a good relationship. So, shout out to him. And like I said, man, if you want to get a feel for who King Jigg was, just go listen to his music. You get a feel of his music, feel his personality. You go hear what he got to say. And he lost his life, sadly. But, he left behind a lot of music. He got kids, My condolences to them. He got a family. So definitely my condolences to everybody who got love for King Jigg. But this is What's the Numbers TV, man. It's the only place with it. We like to shine light on people that everybody else doesn't do stories on. That's what What's the Numbers TV. We pride ourselves on that. We like being the only one with it. We do stories on everybody, but we also like doing stories that nobody got. And this is one of them, man. King Jigg, Far Rockaway, Queens. Get Guap Gang. You understand what I'm saying? So it's What's the Numbers TV. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go follow the Instagram, any business, Poro, What's the Numbers at yahoo.com. Subscribe here, subscribe to the live stream and clip channel also, man. We working. What's the Numbers TV, your boy Poro. I'll be back before you know it, man. I'm out of here. Peace.